So India beat Bangladesh by a big margin of 7 wickets. That makes it 4 wins out of 4 for the Indian team in the Cricket World Cup. We're going to be talking about the 5 big talking points in this game. That was India versus Bangladesh. You're watching Match Report with me, Nikhil now. So our point number 1 is Virat Kohli and his 48th ODI ton. Now he's just one short of the great man Sachin Tendulkar, who holds a record for most ODI tons at 49. But what I'm going to focus on, there's a lot of chatter on social media whether it was the right way that the 100 was achieved or not. There were a few singles that were refused at one point. Well, my point here is that at the end of the day, we need to be celebrating the 48th 100 because it's a unique landmark. Also, I don't think there is any harm done. India won the game. India won the game handsomely. It has been no damage to your net run rate, because I don't think even if Virat wasn't going for his 100, the game would have finished any earlier. So it finished at the time, because that's the style that Virat plays with. So it finished at the exact same time it would have finished otherwise had he been batting on 55, 56, whatever. So no harm done. He gets to his 100. And anyway, KL Rahul has now come out and said that, listen, he's the one who refused the single and told Virat as well that, yes, you must go for 100. And what's the harm, and why should we be critical of Virat Kohli? Because look at cricket as a game. We celebrated Brian Lara's record 400. That itself, if you see the inning, was all designed in a way that he gets to his 400. We celebrated it. Talk about Anil Kumble getting to that 10 wickets. Javagal Srinath on purpose was bowling wides. He was screaming at the fielders who were going for catch because he wanted Anil Kumble to take 10 wickets. So no harm done. Had you been chasing a game that was getting close and then concentrating on your 100, that would have been a different matter. It wasn't in this case. Point number 2, and this is something that maybe we need to criticize. This is at a stage where the game is ending and that particular delivery that is bowled by Nasum is not given a wide. It's well down the leg side. It does not touch anything of Virat Kohli's body and it's not given a wide. This should have been the signal, but this is actually not the signal that Richard Kettleborough gave. So he just stood there, and I think that was a glaring error. Maybe you could call it as a brain fade. Some people are pointing out that if it was an intentional wide, maybe the umpire is within his rights not to give a wide, but there was nothing to suggest that that was bowled intentionally. Yes, Randeep bowled an intentional wide to Virendra Sehwag. That was on purpose. There was nothing to suggest that this was on purpose. And also, if you are one of those that feels, oh, it's part of the game, I'll only want you to go back to that game at the T20 World Cup, India versus Pakistan, and Nawaz bowled a very similar delivery to Ashwin, and that was rightly given a wide. And just drawing a parallel, if you keep that in mind, this was as wide as that. So God knows why Richard Kettleborough did not give it as a wide. So this was another moment from the game. Moment number 3, and that is KL Rahul. Now he remained not out, and what really stands out right now, 4 games we've seen so far, KL Rahul is yet to be dismissed in this World Cup so far. And why this is a moment that we must look at closely is because of the fact that Bangladesh was the team just about a year ago where India toured Bangladesh. He was the stand-in captain. In those 2 test matches, in the 4 innings, he got a total of 57 runs. That's where, all the criticism was being directed at KL Rahul. You saw his memes on the internet, and from that day onwards, he did not play any test matches and then had that injury, not great performances in the IPL. And as I said, a lot of trolls targeted him. He became a meme fest where you saw memes of KL Rahul everywhere. From that situation, look at the way he's bounced back from his injury. From the Asia Cup onwards, he's not looked back. And why today's day and this game versus Bangladesh is very important, because this was the exact same team where the downfall started. And now that he's playing the same team, he's reached a stage where he is a mainstay of India's middle order. So it's actually, life's come a full circle for KL Rahul, and I would want to give him a name today. And that name is going to be Mr. Reliable. Why I'm saying that? Because today when India had lost those 3 wickets and KL Rahul was on the crease when he walked out to bat, usually you'll get butterflies in your stomach, but today I did not. Because that's the kind of confidence that KL Rahul gives when he walks out to bat. So just see how much the world has changed for him in a matter of not years, not months, but just a few days. Okay, moment number 4, and that is Shubman Gill. Rohit Sharma is standing there. He's once again played an outstanding knock of 48 runs. He was, closing in on that half century. But I'm going to point out this man. I'll tell you why. Because today he gets his half century and he was that missing piece in India's puzzle. India's top order had been firing. India's bowlers had been firing. The only person who hadn't come to the party so far was Shubman Gill, primarily because he was not well for the initial games, made a return in the game versus Pakistan, did not get too many runs there. Now he's got a half century, so you could very well say that every bit of India's firepower is looking good. So the Indian arsenal is looking good and the rest of the teams, watch out. Even Shubman Gill has come to the party. Finally, to our point number 5, and that is the injury that Hardik Pandya got. We do not know what his status is at the moment. He went for a few scans, but the only positive to have come out now at the end of the game is the statement that Indian captain Rohit Sharma gave, where he said that he's a bit sore and they will be looking at him closely the next morning. That to me was a positive, because when he says he came off a bit sore, it does seem like it's not a very serious injury, because otherwise, it seems like a sprain or something. That's why I used this particular line. Had it been much worse than that, then maybe they would have used a different term. So I see a silver lining in those dark clouds of Hardik Pandya's injury, because believe you me, we are so bullish about India's chances at this World Cup. But if anything was to happen to Hardik Pandya, there's clearly no replacement for him, because the fast bowling all-rounder that he is, we just do not have a replacement for that. Though in the worst case scenario, if he's not part of the New Zealand game, then I'd see India make a couple of changes just to get their balance right. It's quite possible that you bring in a Suryakumar Yadav for Hardik Pandya, that you will say will weaken your bowling, but then maybe take Shardul Thakur out, get a Mohammad Shami, so you get a full quota of 10 overs. That then will bring that same balance that India is looking for. So that's all the time that we have on this edition of the Match Report. Do give us a like if you enjoy our content, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.